Hello everyone, thank you for joining. The Pacific Games in 2015 in Papua New Guinea will no doubt be one of the biggest publicity points for our country. And the benefits that are set to resonate will be huge. In order for us to stage it successfully, the hard work on the ground has to be done. In fact, it should have been done some time ago in venues and facilities, as well as priming our sportsmen and women. There is also an even bigger challenge, restoring our image. Our scorecard on that is not exactly up there. Police brutality, sorcery killings, fugitives, corruption, politics, and even the betel nut stains are not exactly selling points. But that's not to say the trends will not be reversed. For now, the member for Mosby South, Justin Chachenko, has what we might consider an unenviable job of setting the stage right. Also, the Minister for Sports and the 2015 Games, Mr. Chachenko, is our guest on Tok Piksa. Minister, thank you for making time available for the show.
Thank you very much, John.
You're nervous? You're nervous? Television cameras watching you.
This is a bit of home now. Too good you are, Johnny. You sabe finish.
All right. We'll start off with that. Minister, the Pacific Games, 2015, just a little over 2 years away. How prepared are we? How confident are we?
We're very confident. And I want to say, firstly, thank you to this government and our Prime Minister for backing me as a sports minister to ensure that we do roll out this Pacific Games in 2015. We've just released all the tenders for the major projects so that it's transparent and done without fear or favour. And this is for the Aquatic Centre, for the Games Village, and also for Sajongai Stadium indoor and outdoor refurbishment and reconstruction. Okay. At the end of the day, we're spending 780 million kina over the next 2.5 years. This is construction year this year to get everything up and going, groundbreakings, tender documents done, construction work, piling, you name it, it's going to happen this year. And it has to happen if we're going to get the games going.
All right, all in Port Moresby?
All in Port Moresby.
Why not Lae? Why not even Rabaul?
Yeah, well, some facilities will be done over there, but the games are concentrated on Port Moresby, and all the infrastructure development will be done in existing facilities and some new ones as well. So it's a big investment, but it's not just for now, it's for beyond as well. So we look at doing it for the games and then taking it to the next level where we can compete for the Commonwealth Games next time, or some major international events that in sport, because our facilities will be world class once they're finished.
Okay. I appreciate the fact that it is 780 million kina. What proportion of that comes from the government? What from the private sector?
Well, let me put it this way. You're talking about 100% government funded.
100%?
100%. 100% government funded of that 780 infrastructure development program. Yes, there are corporate sponsors coming on board for the actual games and the athletes and the running and the whole objective.
Is that where they're interested in?
Absolutely. I mean, this games is not just about infrastructure, it's also about winning the games.
Yes.
We have to make sure we get our Papua New Guineans up and ready to rock and roll, and make sure we show the Pacific that we are the big daddy and we will win these games as well. That's very important.
Yeah, home games, we've shown that. I think our track record is there. But let me get on to this infrastructure a little bit. Sir John Guy Stadium, Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. Yeah. That's about the only stadiums we have, and a few here and there. How are we, and which events are going to be where?
Well, Sir John Guy Stadium currently has a capacity of only about 2,000 people. We're going to make that stadium into a capacity of 15,000 people will be able to sit down. So we're nearly timesing it by nearly 9 or 10. So we're expanding the capacities of these original structures, making them more modern and more up to date when it comes to putting out sports events in our country. We'll be doing up the indoor stadium. We also will be fixing up the Rita-filling courts, so all the netball ladies out there, they'll be having a brand new stadium of their own.
And soccer as well out there?
Soccer as well will be upgraded, but also at the Aquatic Centre, we'll have our new 50-metre pool, plus 25 metres, so 2 pools, plus an indoor stadium for basketball and volleyball. So, and there'll be 3 courts for each, basketball and volleyball, undercover in this fantastic new aquatic centre and game centre out at Tarama. So fantastic.
The aquatic center, you say 50 meters, that's international swimming.
Olympic.
But what about the smaller? Is it for diving?
That's 25 meters for the public, for training, for all sorts of other activities. Yes. Diving will come later. It's not a Pacific sport at this particular time. Maybe when we get the second stage, when we get the Commonwealth Games in the future, these things can expand and be developed.
Okay. Soccer, be also over there?
Soccer, there'll be a couple of places where they can play. You've got Sejong guys, you have PRL as well, which we're upgrading as well, PRL Stadium, which will be separately funded. And we've got other areas where soccer will also be a major part of the games as well.
Okay, boxing, my favourite, boxing. Yeah. Where is that going to be?
They'll be in the indoor stadium, at Sejong Guy's indoor stadium. There'll be plenty of room there because basketball and volleyball have been moved over to the new aquatic centre. And there'll be new rings bought, there'll be international events happen pre to that to get our boxes all geared up as well. So that will be in the indoor stadium. We're using the current facilities that we have, but we're taking them to the next level.
Okay. What sports does Lay take, Rabaul take, or even WEWAC?
None.
Okay. But
this is solely centred around Moresby.
You did say the provinces will get something.
Well, for training. For training, we'll be upgrading facilities throughout the provinces under the new Sports Enhancement Program, getting the government funding for sports programs into the districts and provinces of Papua New Guinea. And that's to enhance the sporting programs and abilities of our Papua New Guineans for the lead up to the Pacific Games and beyond.
Okay. Rabaul does have some facilities on the ground. Likewise, the Sports Institute in Goroka. Lay, of course, this Ignatius Kilage. And WEWAC has that new facility. They're about the only centres in the country. Any others you are considering?
Well, look, a lot of the members of Parliament would like to see all their systems upgraded, and now that we have this fantastic new DICP with the 10 million rollout, that then assists our members to get on board and build their facilities in their own provinces and districts. And with the support program of the Sports Enhancement Program under my ministry of 20 million kina, they'll be able to apply to us and get counter funding to back up and build these brand new facilities in their districts and provinces. Okay.
We did very well when we hosted the South Pacific Games, I think in the 60s, and in 94 we came first. Obviously, that's the trend we would like to retain. How confident are you of that?
Well, look, I am very confident. We have to be the winners, and we have got so many unsung talent out there throughout the realms of our country that we need to expose, grab, and enhance them to make them our champion sportsmen and women. PNG Games is one avenue of exposing that unsung talent and unseen talent and getting them and taking them to the next level. Look at Latoya Whistle. What a champion.
Yes, yes.
You know, from Jawaka there, no one knew, a barefooted young lady, and now an international star.
Yes.
This is an example of what can be achieved when we find you and when they are developed. So we've got so many people out there, it's just giving them an opportunity and then they'll go forward.
Have we got teams hunting for that kind of talent right now before the games?
Absolutely. There's the Grassroot to Gold program. Grassroot to Gold program, which is through the PNG Sports Foundation. And through that, we have talent scouts going out to the different provinces, different districts, through four different sporting codes to identify those that really will become our champions in the future in those areas of sport.
Okay. When we go out to another Pacific Island country for the games, when they're hosting it, our favorite spot is third or fourth. That's an area we need a lot of improvement in. After this, is that one of the considerations?
Absolutely. You know, we need to raise our standards. I think at the moment we have a lack of facilities and a lack of trainers and a lack of mobility to get ourselves to that level. Now that this is the sporting revolution that the government's putting forward, this will bring a whole new aspect to sport and to the way sporting codes run and operate for future games and competitions and all the rest of it.
Okay. So you did say at construction stage this year of facilities.
Yep.
Are we bringing in outside companies to do that? Is that local companies? Who is constructing those?
Let me put it this way. everybody is able to tender in these contracts. No problem at all. It's open tender to any company that has the ability to do so.
Any company here and overseas?
In Papua New Guinea and overseas. You know, we only want the people that will be able to do the job and get the job done on time. Now, if Papua New Guinea companies are there and they've got the requirements that are necessary to ensure that these projects are being built properly and on time, the most important thing, on time, and to a quality product, then those contracts will be awarded to the right people. There is a valuation committee and tender committee which evaluates all these works under the Pacific Games Authority and the Central Supply and Tenders Board. So I'll go through the normal process, and if our Papua New Guinean companies are up to it, well, of course, they will be given the job. You know, we've got about nearly 8 or 12 major projects happening at once. So everybody, I'm sure, will get a piece of the pie at the end of the day.
It's a very bold initiative. It's a huge thing here. Is there a time when you're anxious that it'll get done?
Look, at the moment, I don't sleep much. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
It is.
Well, that's good to know.
No,
a minister works and doesn't
well, I have
sleep.
to. Well, I've got one of the
Need
only.
it from a few others.
That's true. Well, I've got one of the only ministries that has a deadline, and that's July 4th, 2015, which is the start of the games, and we must be well prepared before that anyway. So the scenario is that my thinking is to ensure that, you know, everybody's working and everybody's on the same page, and we've got the state solicitor, we've got the Department of Works, we've got NCDC, we've got everybody working for the same aim and same cause. Now, the Prime Minister has written out a directive to all departmental heads and authorities and statutory bodies, stating very clearly that this is the Pacific Games is of national importance.
Yes.
National importance, and whatever you're doing, make sure that when we need something approved or pushed through or anything that comes up, if it's land or what have you, land issues, that it's done for the reasons of national importance to make sure the games are done and held successfully as well.
And without giving too much away, the opener, the closer.
They have to be something that is truly Papua New Guinean, but also absolutely spectacular, showing our strength and who we are as Papua New Guineans in the whole of Pacific. We are the big daddy now. We have the biggest economy in the Pacific, and we're getting bigger and bigger every year. And we have to show the world and also the Pacific that we are number one.
You back to our interview with the member for Mosby South and the Minister for Sports and the Pacific Games, Mr. Justin Chachengo. And still on sports, Rugby League. We had our little brush up with the Sydney Rabbitohs. And Rugby League in general, I suppose. You've come on board talking about it, as well as your Vice Minister. You're taking a personal interest in this.
Rugby League is our national sport. We have to make sure we get it right. If we don't get it right now, it's never going to happen. Nearly 6 or 7 years it's been in turmoil through court cases and self-promoting influences that have been causing the problems with the game. We have now got rid of the court cases. We have an interim board that is recognised by the court and that is a legitimate interim board for Rugby League now. We have now getting on with the job and making sure that Rugby League heads in the right direction. For me as a minister to take a personal interest was basically to get it right, because no one could make a decision. Thanks to the Prime Minister, he helped fund me and bring all the presidents from all the different provinces for Rugby League on the same, put them on the same table to sort out their differences. We did that and made it happen, and then from there we've moved forward. So it's been a win-win-win. For me, I don't want to get involved in sporting codes and sort out conflicts and disputes. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to get on in developing the sports for the benefit of our people. But because rugby league is our national sport, it must be looked after and put in the right direction. Once it's all set in place and we have the new board, confirmed board in place by June, and the constitution is changed and fixed up, then from there I'll say, over to you boys, make it happen.
What about the involvement of some experienced NRL clubs or even British clubs because they've got the depth of experience that they will pass on to us, involving them? Is there a consideration there?
Well, absolutely. I want to see the next PNG Rugby League board full of professionals that probably don't need to have any experience when it comes to rugby league. Businessmen or women, highly educated in administration and marketing and areas where it will take rugby league to the next level. We keep on having old players or old administrators from rugby league go in there. There's too many problems that are caused of jealousy and self-promotion and all this sort of thing. So let's get a neutral board in place that really has nothing to do with rugby league, but knows the outcomes of what need to be achieved, and then from there let's move it forward. So that's the aim. I would love to see a totally neutral board on rugby league in the next couple of months.
Could it have been that rugby league has gone past that perimeter of sport and gone into a commercial entity?
Absolutely. I mean, with the new stadium at PRL in the pipeline to be done, and the way sports are moving throughout the world, we have to catch up with that modern times instead of being fall backwards onto all these recycled old administrators and people that have always come up all the time. I give them full respect, but we need to move on.
Yes, yes. You're also Minister for Soccer. You're also Minister for Softball. They might say, hang on, you haven't given them some attention here.
Well, no, that's true. I mean, I have been concentrating the first 6 months of my time to fix our national sport rugby league.
Okay.
And I have no problem with that because it needed to be fixed because it affects so many millions of Papua New Guineans that follow it throughout the provinces and our country. So that will be fixed very shortly, and it's already well in advanced stages of now moving on by itself. It's a baby that's crawled, and now it's a child and teenager walking, and soon it will be an adult. So the scenario is that it's basically there. We're still working with soccer is one thing we're working on. We want to get involved with boxing and also swimming and athletes. So don't you worry, I'll be concentrating on a lot of the sports. I still am, but this was just a major issue that I had to make sure was solved, and the government wanted to be fixed as well.
Sport is seen as one that brings people together.
Yes.
Peace resonates from that. Is that one of the things that you as Minister pursuing?
Absolutely. And our government is right behind that objective. Sport does bring everyone together, no matter who you are. And it's good, fair competition when we get to play and have a great time. You make great friends. It brings communities together, brings villages together, different provinces together. So we now have to take sport in a whole different light to ensure that it mends some of our broken promises and our broken relationships from the past. It can do that. And no matter where it is, if it's just playing a volleyball game in the backyard with your family and friends, these are things that sport does by bringing a community participation and friendship together.
You back to our interview with the member for Mosby South and the Minister for Sports and the Pacific Games, Mr. Justin Chachengo. Mosby South, Minister, how is it?
Mosby South, it's a wonderful electorate. I've got one of the best electorates in the country. I'll be biased.
You have to be.
But 15 years of work by the former member has left my electorate in a really bad state. I have got the schools are totally run down. It's a real shame to see how the primary school buildings and the infrastructure is dilapidated. The roads are in fair condition. The health services are just at their, they're just working without basically on the smell of an oil rag. I've inherited an electorate that needs help.
Okay.
It's been band-aid, and now I need to really fix it properly and give a good medicine to get up and running again.
Are you working closely with the Motu Koita Assembly? Part of your villages are part of the Motu Koita Buns.
I have personal relationships with all the leaders of the Motu Koita villages in my electorate. At this present stage, I am not working with the Motu Koita Assembly because it really does nothing for my people at all. I want to be honest.
Mirie Kupu says he wants to do it, but City Hall is not giving any money to them. You're part of City Hall.
Yes, yes.
How
look,
do you...
look at the end of the day, Miria has a job to do by looking after his people in Motu Koita. I have a job to do as a member for Moresby South. The funds that are allocated to me by the government is for me to spend through my JDP for my people that live in my electorate. I do not have to go through Motu Koita to get those services out. That's my responsibility as a member to service all my electorate, and that is including the Motu Koita people.
I think that's the view of all the city MPs. Wouldn't that suggest or bring up the possibility that there might be replica of services, Motu Koita Assembly doing one, you doing another? It's a replica.
Yeah, it does replicate some issues, but there are guidelines there under the Motu Koita Act and their legislation, which there's things that they're supposed to look after.
Okay.
Schooling, rubbish collection, all these things in the village situation. And whether that's being done or not, that's for Miria to explain to his people. But for us, it's to service the people as my voters and the services that they need. For example, in 3 months, we fixed Pari Supply water.
Yes.
It took nearly 15 years and we did it in 3 months.
That's right.
And that's when the governor and I worked together for the people of Pari, got the right people involved to get Edirano in to do the work, not some outside contractor that knows nothing about water, fix the job once and for all and make sure the people have water, our landowners have water. Now we did that in 3 months.
But that's something that the Motu Koita Assembly should have done. Is that?
Well, why aren't they doing it?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Okay.
So I saw the need, because it was a very important project. Water is life. These people haven't had proper water for 15 years. When I got in, I said to our JDP committee and all the people in Pari, if I don't fix this now, it will never get fixed. So we did the right thing by engaging Edirano. They appointed their own contractor, they did a full report and they got the job done. Now if the water's not running into Pari, well then I can go straight back to Edirano and say, what's going on? But if it's an outside contractor and I go to Edirano, they say, oh, we'll get him to fix it.
Absolutely.
So get the service providers to do the job so that they are responsible to maintain it.
Your predecessor, Dame Carol Kiddu, when she entered politics, she said she was mad. Make a difference. And I don't know whether she made a difference or not. What is yours as a new member?
It's get on with the job.
Get on with the job.
Get on with the job. It's, enough of talking. We've been talking for so much with policies and legislations and saying we're going to do that, saying we're going to do this, but at the end of the day, nothing's done. So it's time to put the money where my mouth is and get on with the job and get the infrastructure in, get the water projects in, make new markets for people to make money in, get that informal sector going so people are getting income coming into their communities, fixing the education policy, for example. Putting $1 million kina this year for education, educating through the TVET program, further educating our people to make our electorate one of the best educated electorates in the city. And that's of course being helped as well and backed up by our governor who's putting on another $1 million kina on top of mine. So Moresby South is going to move ahead when it comes to education. But also need to fix up that infrastructure as well. But another big thing, John, that we'll do this year is that we're going to give over $1 million kina to the church. The church in Moresby South plays a major role.
In the country.
In the country and especially in my electorate as well. In the Motu Koita villages, in the settlements, in our communities, they play a major role in looking after our people. No money has been given like this ever to the church and its programs and activities. So we're going to give them the church, give them the opportunity to roll out their programs, religious, all sorts of different programs for the men and women and youth of my electorate, and tell them to get behind what we're doing and make it work for us.
Okay. Minister, the final question I have to ask you. there is a perception, and I'd like you to dispel or confirm, that the beautification program in Port Moresby, are you still involved in it, and is NCDC giving you some money to run it?
The beautification program in Port Moresby, I have a 3-year contract, so when the contract finishes, then it will have to be up for re-tender. I have now pulled myself out of PNG Gardener. I no longer work there as the PNG Gardener of before.
Okay.
Now
but the company is going.
The company is going, and we have I have an expert
under a new management.
Under new management, under a new team that have always been there, but just been elevated in different positions as I've left. Of course, as my company, I will have my fingers on the pulse to make sure it still must operate properly. As director, but the day-to-day running and management of that company is done by the staff there and the managing director to ensure that the contract responsibilities that my company was given are fulfilled for the city, and make sure the city is clean and beautified as per contract arrangement. So that's all been cleared by the Ombudsman Commission. I made sure that there was no conflict of interest, and I had a personal meeting with the Ombudsman Commissioner and their staff just to make sure that I knew what I could do and what I can't do. And that's very important. So I did that as soon as I became the Member of Parliament.
I think that's clear. Minister, we are running out of time. Thank you very much for coming on to the program.
Thank you so much, John.
And that's been Tok Piksa. We'll do it again with another guest and another topic. Thank you for watching.